this. Bang. Still getting used to. Hello everyone, Helena here. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. And today we are going to talk a bit about some palettes that I want to get more use out of this year, and hopefully be able to use up or use the majority of. But before we get into that, welcome. This is a channel where I love to talk about makeup, I love to try new makeup, and I also love to pan makeup. So if that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing and hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. But let's get into talking a bit about my palettes that I want to pan. So first of all, if you follow if you've seen other videos from me, you know that I have a rolling product pan where I added this little palette from Ciate. It's called the... It doesn't say what it's called, but I saw it online. I think it's like the Trendsetter or something. I don't know what's trend-setting about this. It's very basic. But yeah, I added this and said that I wanted to get more use out of it, but that I might move it from that project to another project. So this is now the time where I'm moving this. It's very basic but easy for me to use, because when I do my makeup in the morning before going to work, I can just take whatever of these like transition shades and smack them on my lids and call it a day. I'm going to ignore this red because I'm not impressed by how that looks. I tried to wear it a bit before Christmas, because in December I felt like it was appropriate, but I'm really not impressed in the wear time of this shade, so I'm going to ignore that. We don't know her. But the other shades I want to do some damage to. I'm not saying that I'm going to use this project to finish them completely, because I know some will like scrape out and repress and go to long lengths to completely clean out the pans, and that's not my journey. But I just want to feel like I'm using products. I am not just, well, I am bringing palettes in all the time, but also that I am using what I have spent my money on, and that I will and I want to feel satisfied and have some kind of joy in, like, okay, now I have used this quite a lot, it's fine to declutter this one. I did not specifically buy this. I got it in an advent calendar, I think 2 years ago. But I paid for the advent calendar, and I felt like this is a small palette. It's not necessarily a bad palette in any means. And it's easy for me to utilize on an everyday basis in combination with other eyeshadows that I feel are more inspiring. So yeah, this one will now move into this project that I will call Pan That Palette. But the focus in this project will be on using some face palettes, and I know that many people use their Pan That palette to focus on face palettes, like Alejandra Lisette is one of my inspirations to do that, and I also know that Cat Niche Cat does that. So I want to focus on some face palettes to use more, and I have 2 contestants for this, and I don't really know what to do because I want to get use out of both of them. So the first one is my Linda Hallberg LH Cosmetics Infinity palette. This has some years on it already, and I use this. This is like a palette that you can use for both face and eyes and so on. But yeah, that is one that I want to focus on. But I also have this Glow palette. Is it called Glow? And this one is from Missha. And it's a face palette. So I will show them to you and kind of give you my thoughts. So the Linda Hallberg palette this is the original one, and it's, you know, my tones. She released more for different, for deeper skin tones and so on. But yeah, this is good as a face palette, I think. And I like this black, I might not get as much use of. If I get use out of the other shades, I might declutter that, or not declutter, I might depot it, because it's a good black. I mean, it's very intense. So one can use that for that purpose. But I feel like this is a good palette to use now, when it's still winter, but it's starting to get more, the sun comes out more and so on. Because this shade, called Sticky, is supposed to be like a bronzer shade, but it's very orange on me. I can't really, I need to be super light-handed if I want to use that as a bronzer. But I thought that this would be a good shade to, I can just dip my brush in that and then go ham on my ArtDeco bronzer that I use, that I want to hit pan on before winter is over, and get a bit of a warmer tone, because that ArtDeco one is quite cool toned. It's borderline borderline contouring shade. So I think that I can get use out of this as a bronzer in combination with that one, so I will mix those colors. Then we have Maffei, which is also good for kind of neutralizing the orange, so you probably won't be able to see it, barely. So it's not really a cream shade. I can't use this as a lid setting shade because it's too, it's slightly like grey, cool toned. But when I eventually hit pan, and if I want to continue on this palette, then I can neutralize this a bit and not have it as orange by using this shade in combination. So then we have, I don't know how, should we talk about the blushes together? Yeah, let's talk about this shade, Cigar. This is a good contouring shade. It's a bit grey also, but if I mix Cigar with Maffei, or if I can even mix it with the ArtDeco bronzer, I can use it as a contouring shade without it looking too like muddy and grey. But that one is good. Then we have two blushes, and these blushes I think are really nice. They're quite subtle. So we have one called yeah, this one is called Andromeda, and this one on my, I'm giving you the finger, is called Pinwheel. And especially, I think especially, let's see where I can swatch this. So this is Andromeda. Yeah, as I said, very subtle. And then we have Pinwheel. I think this Pinwheel is a good shade for this time of year, because it's more cool toned, and I have quite many warm toned blushes in my collection, peachy shades and so on. So I think that this one would be good to use now. And both of them are have some shine to them, so they are not matte blushes. And then finally we have two highlighters, which are they are called Virgo and Milky Way, and they look like that. So this one is called Virgo, it's more golden, and then Milky Way. And these, I will swatch them in my palm because that's the best way to see, are not like I think Milky Way is definitely more visible. It's that one. But the golden one, Virgio, I can't say that. Don't come for me. It's definitely more subtle, especially on my skin. You can see it now because my palm is obviously more, I have more crinkles and stuff happening, so that's why it's good to swatch there. But so I can use those. I like to double add highlighter, so when I finish my face makeup I add some highlighter, like a subtle one, so that's when I can utilize those. And then after finishing my eye makeup, because then I might have to brush away fallout and stuff, I like to amp it up and put highlighter again. But I can also I think use this with like fluffy brush. I have this like powder brush, which is it's not rounded, it looks like this, and then I can use these subtle highlighters to kind of use as a finishing powder if I want to add some glow. And since I have already uploaded my deco panning, you know that I will use a matte foundation, so I think that maybe I can it will be a good thing to use like a highlighter like this as a finishing powder. But yeah, those are this is the palette from Linda Hallberg, and I'm going to start off with this. I'm not saying that I will clean this out. I'm not sure how it depends on the progress that I'm able to make. But now let's look at the other palette from Missha and talk a bit about my thoughts on that palette.